shadow, it is more than I thought could exist. You move through the room like breathing was easy. If someone believed me, they would be as in love with you as I am.
In those days, there were a lot of people that come from small towns and came to the big city, Chicago, to get work and to get a job, and she was working there. And my father was always from the area. My family, my father had 3 brothers and a sister. Their parents came over, they migrated from Italy. They had a real estate office. So they were a little bit above the average. But the most important thing, at least in our life, was my aunt, who was probably the best cook in the world. And when Pat and I got married, Pat happened to love Italian food. So she learned all the recipes and how to cook all the Italian food for us and for all of our children and grandchildren. I was in Roseland. I went to Scanlon Grammar School and to Fanger, where I met Pat. And my father was very smart. He did a lot of different things. He had a couple of businesses. He also was very handy. He did remodeling of houses that we had. My mother was a beautiful bride, and the 2 of them had some problems when they were older and when I was about 13. And Grandma was concerned about that when we were getting married. But everything worked out fine. And that's that.
I was named, well, my grandmother was Catherine and my mother was Catherine, so
you were named
I was Catherine. But they called me by my middle name, which really confused me all the time, because they sent me to a Catholic school and they'd say Catherine, and I never answered.
Did you get a lot of slaps on the wrist?
And finally someone would nudge me. Oh, yeah.
Was your middle name after somebody?
Patricia. I was named after my father.
Oh.
My father's name was Robert Patrick Kramer.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And were you named after anybody?
I don't know of anybody that I was named after.
Some Polish person. I went to Fanger, where he did. Well, they didn't have too much for girls, although I loved to do it. On the block I lived, there was only boys, and we would play in the street football. And I ran into a parked car and lost my tooth.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
It broke in half. And my face was all swollen. I had to go to school that way, you know. And finally it got fixed, but I liked playing that, and I would go early to school to play handball on this wall, the great big wall of the school. And if you didn't get there early, you didn't get to play, and I just loved playing it, you know. And then when I was 10, well, my mother and father both bowled. When I was 10, they took me bowling, and from that time on, I was hooked on bowling. You know, I love bowling. Grandpa thinks it's a dumb game, but his father managed bowling alleys. But you know, I think he used to have to set up pins in the Rose Bowl. You don't want to tell him about your life?
Mom, skating. No, when you're done, skating.
Oh, God, yes. When I was young, from about 7th or 8th grade till I met Grandpa, I used to go roller skating. They, you know, with music, and you'd kind of dance and all that. So I loved that. I'd be there every Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd have to take the streetcar though to get there from my neighborhood. Yeah, so I do
Dedication.
that. Yeah, I loved roller skating. He thought that was kind of dumb also. And now I haven't really ever gotten him to like golf either.
Yeah, in high school I played sports, but not in college. Friends.
It was a friend that was playing a joke on him. He said, you gotta ask this hot one out. She's really hot. It was Joe Aurelio. Okay.
Joe Aurelio
And he
played a joke on you.
Yeah, we grew
They
up
were good
together,
friends.
so we were good friends.
Yeah.
I must have done something, and he took Grandma out himself. And then he wasn't aggressive, or she was aggressive against him, I
didn't
guess.
like him. He was too short anyway.
Anyhow, so I did something, I guess he was mad at me, so he fixed me up with Grandma.
So, what was your first date then?
Our first date through Joe was at Buckingham Fountain downtown.
Buckingham Fountain downtown.
And
We
he
always
had,
think of that when we
he was going
we go
with
there every once in a while.
his wife, Anne
Anne.
Aurelio, so then we were good friends. So that's it.
Yeah.
Was that his girlfriend at the time, and then they got
Yeah.
married? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
The Pizza King.
He wasn't the Pizza King then, but
He became the
he
Pizza
was
King.
a little, and he played football, and he played with his brother on a winning team that went down to Soldiers Field to play for the city championship. I
Wow.
remember going to that game. You know, we had to take the IC, and well, we called it the IC then. Now it's the Metro, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who said I love you first? Do you remember?
No, I probably did.
No, I don't know that either of us did.
Wait, have you ever said I love you?
Of course. Every day.
Everything, and they'd have social events, and they would ask him, and he'd always say yes. But none of the boys asked me out
They knew better.
because, you know,
That's how it was in high
that's
school.
Tom's girl, I guess. You know, so I never got asked out by any of the other boys.
Grandpa.
And some of them were really nice looking.
That's like,
Why didn't you go ask them out, Grandma?
Then he went off to college, and he said, I have to take care of myself. He wasn't going to be around anymore. I'll never forget that.
So that goes to my other question. What did you do after high school? Because
Well, I went to work.
she got a nice job.
My parents wouldn't send me to college. They sent my brother, but they didn't believe in sending girls. And I wanted to go, but I didn't know how to do that, you know. So I went to work.
what'd you do?
I took stenography.
Oh, okay.
And I really didn't like it, and I didn't like taking the train. So I looked in the paper, and I saw that this place, Chicago Bridge and Iron, that was near us, had a job opening. So I walked over there, and they interviewed me, and they called me a week later, and I worked there for a long time, you know, for as long as I could. 7 years or more.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but when I was downtown, I went to modeling school. Yes. I thought, oh, remember Grandpa?
Yes.
You came, and I don't know why he was with me, but he was, and I had to keep on walking down this hallway with a book on my head. modeling.
Tess. That
Yes.
was her test.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but then when I went to the new job, I just didn't take the train down there anymore, you know. So, and he went off to college, and he was with a bunch of Lutheran girls. And I always said he ended up with me because the fathers always sent their girls to the Lutheran school to find a Lutheran husband. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't want him. He was Catholic. So I was lucky.
So you guys were still dating when you went off to
Yes,
college
off
and
and
you
on,
went to
yeah.
work?
Yeah.
Off and on. Oh,
But
okay.
I broke up with him.
Why did you break up with him, Grandma?
We were at a party, one of those college parties, and they ignored me, and I just kind of told them off.
I never.
Good for you!
I never ignored her, for God's sakes.
I was kind of there by myself, you know? So I was pissed. And I just said, well, that's it, you know. So it was about 6 months or so.
Whoa.
And then he went,
How did you guys get back together then after that?
I made a smart move.
Ooh.
Whoa, what was that?
He was off in, he was working in Wisconsin,
Rhinelander.
Rhinelander. And he'd call, but my father would answer the phone and say, I wasn't there. I didn't know my father did that. You know, my mother and father didn't particularly like him because he was Italian.
Oh.
That's how it was back then. My sister had gone with a couple of them that were really dark. Tom would come to the door and I just push him and we'd go, well, let's go, you know. I never asked him in. And they finally got used to him, but they knew he was always hurting my feelings, so they didn't like him for that either. You know, so get some stories from him, because he had a girlfriend before he had me.
Ma.
This is what it's all about, Grandpa.
We
Spill
talk-
your guts.
Well, we were off and on in college, and then in my senior year, and
You
in
know, you
this,
didn't tell him about high school.
so we were in high school and we dated. That's it. Now, and then we're in college, and we go off and on, and then in my in the summer of my senior year, a friend of mine from college and another guy and I went into Wisconsin to play semi-pro baseball.
Wow.
It wasn't wow. But anyhow, in the meantime, he also fixed up and we got a job working for the phone company, putting up new wiring and poles.
Oh, okay.
With the old
Telephone
poles.
poles.
Yeah, telephone poles. And that was the big story when I told her when I came back, but it's not interesting now. But we were kind of in the jungle putting them up, and we'd get ticks. And the ticks were a big problem on us. And but anyhow, when we were playing, that's when I decided that it should be time for her and I to get together. And I called, and I couldn't reach her. And finally, when we came home, and I went back in my senior year, I got a hold of her, and we got together and decided to get married.
It's more interesting than that.
Well, what do you mean?
More interesting.
Well, Frank and Gloria,
Made you realize that Grandpa's the one.
I broke up with, him, and Frank and Gloria got married, and I got an invitation, but I didn't go, okay? Because it was in Peoria.
Oh.
Okay, Gloria and
My
I
brother
were
Frank.
kind of
Yes.
friendly, okay? So my mother and father were gone to Florida, and I didn't like being by myself, so I took the bus and the streetcar to go to my sister's house, which passes his place. And I thought I'd stop and ask his mother how the wedding went. And he answered the door. Both of us was kind of
We could make a movie about that wonderful time. Jesus Christ.
And then he walked me to my sister's, and then he asked me out. Now that's more interesting than what you say.
I guess it is, man.
So how did Grandpa propose?
Oh my
He just
God.
said one night, well, we're going to get married.
It was real. Yeah.
And he was in college, so I arranged everything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he didn't have any money. He liked me because I had a car.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Grandma.
No,
Grandma's the prize pig.
Well,
No, I was
she had
working.
money.
He didn't have any money. So, yeah.
Anyhow, what we did.
A week after he graduated, we got married.
Holy moly.
And he had no money at all.
Grandma, you really went out for it.
Well, she knew a good
Didn't
thing.
even
What the
think.
heck?
Or did she?
Now, let me tell you what we discussed, though. We had a lot of discussions about our life and what it would be like and what we should do. And we decided together that we wanted to have 6 children. And we both agreed to that. And Grandma said, you know, I will have 6 children or more as long as you provide the money. Now, back then, it wasn't so hard to provide the money because there weren't that many people with a college education.
Right.
Because after the Second World War, many of the military guys got scholarships to go to college. So anyhow, it's a different environment and culture than it is now. So it wasn't difficult, and I think I told my children this before, for me to get a job and to make a decent amount of money and to save a decent amount of money, whereas today is so different and it's very difficult to do that. But anyhow, these are some of the things that we discussed and agreed to. And she got 5 kids, and then she had her operations, and she couldn't have any more, but at least we got up to 5. And that's the life that we kind of led. And we wanted to make sure the most important thing, I think the other thing was education for our children.
Yeah.
And we did that too. And we felt it was very important to give them a chance to survive in the world. That's kind of the stuff we talked about and decided on. And we were very fortunate to get 5 of the kids anyhow.
Yeah.
And they all turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very, very proud of them.
Oh.
We
Very.
forgot one thing.
Oh my God, how could I forget something, Pat?
Well, when he got out of school, he got a job selling adding machines downtown, going from floor to floor to floor. And Joe Aurelio had the same kind of a job, only he was selling cash registers or something like that. But anyway, he worked 6 months and then he got drafted and left November 30th. And he went into the Army, okay? And he was in for 2 years. So I was without him 6 months after we got married, okay?
Wow.
So I was very depressed at that time, you know. But, in fact, he got sent to Japan and he was going to have me come there, but they wouldn't
No, the Army.
guarantee that I could go home with him when he got sent home.
No. I was just a private.
Oh.
Yeah.
And if she got pregnant while she was there, they would send her home and I would pay for it. They would not take care of any of that stuff. Being a private, you're stuck. So I never brought her to Japan.
Wow.
I just got some nice pearls from there.
Well, you guys kind of answered some questions, but I do want to know, where did you get married?
St. Helena's?
Yeah, it was in my parish, St. Helena's at 101st and Normal, I think it was.
Okay.
Okay.
Was that Fernwood? Or?
I don't know. I suppose
Chicago,
it was
it's in-
Fernwood.
Okay.
Fernwood,
In our
you know.
neighborhoods.
There's
where
suburbs, certain suburbs in
we, no, that
Chicago
wasn't.
were called different parts, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was in Fernwood. The day we got married, anyway, we got married in the afternoon, and I wanted to receive communion. And the girls that stood up for me were Catholic too, so they were wanting to go. So we went, you know, around 8 or 9 o'clock, and I was living in my sister's 2-flat, and she was the maid of honor, and I forgot her.
Oh my God.
And then we got to the church, and there was a funeral coming, so the priest wouldn't give us communion. We had to get out of there. So my one good friend called her pastor. We went to that church, and we received communion. But I'll never forget, I forgot my sister, and she just lived downstairs.
What was your guys' first dance to? What song?
Oh, she liked Tenderly.
Tenderly, by who?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know who it was. But we loved
Probably one of the big bands in that era.
Tenderly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Where did you guys go on a honeymoon? Where did you go to?
Oh man, don't get into that.
Yes, please. Let's get into it.
another good story.
I pride myself now through my mature years of being a good planner. I lay things out and blah, blah, blah. But apparently I never laid out the honeymoon. And we just got into a car and drove south. We were going to Missouri.
Okay.
Not sure where, but
The Ozarks.
The Ozarks.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Beautiful.
And halfway there, we were pooped and tired after our reception, and we stopped at a motel
In Pontiac. That
Oh,
was,
I know Pontiac.
you do? Yes. It's still a dumb place.
Yes!
See, he keeps saying we gotta drive back there and see what it's like. And it was a horrible motel.
Anyhow,
I thought, oh God, this is terrible. I arranged the wedding and everything. I didn't even think of the honeymoon. Yeah.
yeah.
So you honeymooned in Pontiac?
It was awful, and we eventually got to the Ozarks, and I think we were going to be there for 2 weeks, and we were only there a week because her
We
father.
weren't even there a week, hon.
Yeah,
Half
okay.
a
Her
week.
father had
He was in the hospital.
a stone,
He was passing
kidney stone.
They had him in the hospital.
So we rushed back
and
for
that's
that.
what it was.
And that was it.
So that was the honey. Not like that nowadays, where you go far away.
Oh, God. So where did you guys buy your first home?
It was when West Pullman.
West.
We didn't buy a home.
Oh,
His dad and brother
My brother's an
designed and built
architect,
it.
and he designed the home for us. And my father, was the general contractor on the home.
wow.
And we built a home, and in
62?
1961 or 2, I think. And we were there for about 10 years, I think.
Till
Then we moved to home.
we were like
Wow.
40, 41, I think.
I don't know. But anyhow,
Yeah.
that's,
Holy.
Yeah. But he built, it was the best kitchen I ever had. It was
yeah,
great.
it was really nice.
Everything was great about it, except for we didn't have enough bedrooms. At least the boys didn't have a big enough room. Poor John, we got, what we did was that we had bunk beds, and Tom and Luke were in the bunk beds, and then we got a door, and we rolled it in and out.
So
Oh, I just went to the doctor for a checkup.
So you guys were expecting this, you tried, it was...
We didn't care.
No. I came home from Japan,
Okay.
and the discharge center was Fort Sheridan, which is up north in Illinois. And Mom met me there when I was discharged. And driving home, we had not seen each other for over a year. We stopped at a motel. And that's when Beth was conceived.
Okay.
That simple.
Yeah, you know, cool. So,
Yeah.
it's all right. You guys had mentioned earlier you wanted a large family. Okay. Was there a specific number you guys were aiming for, or?
Well, it was
We
the
said six.
six. That's
One
what
and
we were
six.
aiming for.
And I said, all girls. And then I was so happy God gave me 3 boys.
Yeah, tell them that story about
Yeah.
how the boys were good and the girls were bad.
They'd always give me their mouth, you know, and give me a lot of trouble. And I made them do chores on Saturday, and the girls would take them all day to get done. The boys would do it right away, and then they were gone. They were, to me, they were always very good. Of course, they did things I didn't know about, which I found out the other day.
We don't want to go into that.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
necessary.
We don't need to go into their
No.
stories. That's another legacy
Yes,
video.
Yes.
Were any of them named after anyone?
Well, Tom
my
was
God.
after
After me.
Grandpa.
Do you remember that?
John was after John F. Kennedy.
No relation, just an obsession.
His name is John Frank LaRocca. I finally named one of them Frank, which Dad wanted Frank all the time because that was his dad's name. I said, Frank? Calling a little kid Frank? No. So
And then
John was
Luke's
Frank.
mom.
And Luke was Lawrence of Arabia. But when he got to be 5 years old, I'll never forget, he was sitting at the counter and he said to me, I don't want to be called Larry anymore. I want to be called Luke. I said, okay. But it took a long time for the family
Oh.
to get used to that,
So
you know?
Uncle Luke was originally Uncle Larry.
Yes,
That,
yeah, but he
Uncle
didn't
Larry
like
of
that.
Arabia.
So he always goes by L. Luke LaRocca.
oh.
He does not like Lawrence. But
I
we
mean,
were
most
inspired
people
by that movie.
Peter O'Toole really
Yeah.
sold you.
Yeah. And then
But-
John F. Kennedy, oh God, we thought he was the greatest.
But my mom and Beth were named Kathy and Beth.
And I just liked her name. Beth.
Beth?
I just like that. And it's kind of after Aunt Babe, you know. But
Elizabeth.
she said, what'd you call me that for? I said, I just liked it. And then Kathy,
For Catherine.
yeah. Yeah.
So, now this is for both of you, and this is spur of the moment. If you could use one word to describe each one of your children, what would it be?
Oh my God.
Beth.
You said each one?
Yeah, each one.
Each one.
I'm gonna say
One word, really?
one word. Well, hyphenated I'll take.
You want to go first now?
I'm trying to think of what, she's just gotta be perfect.
So perfection.
Yes, she's
Okay.
perfection. And she works very hard at
More than what
being
we're
that.
grandma.
Yeah, perfection is fine, and then
Yeah.
Kathy is the complete opposite.
complete opposite.
Yeah.
All right, one word for Kathy.
One word.
How about
Trouble.
yeah, that's right. Trouble in River City.
What about Tommy?
Oh.
Well, Tommy had
Tommy was-
he had medical problems when he was young, and he survived those, and that was very serious. But then everything came out fine.
Yeah.
Tommy.
Lovable.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's the sweetest thing ever.
But I
Yeah.
think all my boys are that way.
Yeah.
Aw. So Luke, word to describe
lovable.
Luke.
She's got lovable. I don't have lovable for the boys. I just like boys. Boys are boys. That's all. You know, their pains. The girls are not our granddaughters. Now I'm talking about our granddaughters now. Not our daughters.
So was there another word to use for John then?
No.
No, just lovable?
He's my baby.
Oh.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Are we
Those were more
done
than
yet?
one words, but we'll take them.
I only said baby.
Yeah.
No, you said lovable, and that's fine.
Well, for all of them.
Bull
And John
baby.
was my baby.
What was it like raising 5 kids? Grant.
Tough.
Grandma had
You
to
were
be.
what, all alone?
Especially because Grandpa would go out of town a lot when they were little. No, I didn't like being alone. And at night I couldn't fall asleep. So I'd either paint a wall or put up wallpaper or something like that until I was so tired I fell in bed.
No,
That's not healthy.
But he'd be gone for a week or so, and that's hard when you got
No,
that
no.
many kids. I'm sure you know.
No.
You have 2 now, and Brendan goes on trips.
Can I say something now, Ma?
Yes.
When I was working, I was assigned to a job in Belgium,
God.
and we had 5 kids. And I was going there because we were having trouble with the plant. So when we went there, the first time I went, Grandma went with me, and she was there for 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And she had a chauffeur, and another engineer went with me and his wife, and the 2 of them were chauffeured all around Belgium and some of the other places for them to get an idea if they liked Belgium or if either one of us would move there. And then they came home, and then I was there for several weeks. And I would be in touch with Grandma, a couple, 3 times a week or something. And it looked like it was kind of an extensive period that I would be going back and forth. I'd come home for 3 days
Once
or
a month.
something. Anyhow, this was in January when it started, and I don't know, about April or May, she called and she said, I got these 5 kids, and I can't continue, and you got to come home. And if you don't come home, I'm divorcing you. And I came home.
Good for you.
And that's when we had a party at this house we were renting, and he had his friend that he worked with before he went in the service, and in the beginning of his accounting career, and his friend asked him if he wanted to go in business with him. So it worked out.
Wow.
Well, that's
Yeah.
when I went on my own with him.
Yeah.
What business was that?
Accounting, we just
Accounting.
got clients and did work.
And then I ended up working, oh Christ, when I ended up it's over 40 years.
That sounds horrible.
I began working in the basement typing for him, you know, and then
Yeah.
eventually when he got an office, I went in the office. But that wasn't until the kids were all in school. And I didn't come until the kids were gone, and I went home when they were going to be gone. But I made them get in all kinds of sports so they
Yeah.
get home right away.
You're smart, Grandma. You're very
And
smart.
Grandma coached the girls in softball. Her oldest daughter.
Yeah.
My two daughters.
Your two daughters.
Yeah, they
I
were the
know
best
that
players
photo
on the
very
team.
well.
That's a mother's opinion.
No, they were the best.
All right, Kristen.
Okay.
Haven't you found out enough about us?
Not at all. Grandpa, we've heard your opinions about pets. So,
Pets?
what pets and how many did you guys have through the years?
Well, we had a dog for Kathy. Just for Kathy, right?
It was just Kathy. She
What was
kept
the
on-
name of it? Was it like Snow?
Fluffy.
Fluffy.
Fluffy. You would have thought you'd name it something
I
else.
used to put Fluffy in the playpen because my kids would never stay in the playpen. So the dog was in the playpen.
Wait, how old was Kathy when you bought her this dog?
What,
Don't
about
look at me.
5?
I don't.
Five?
She was young, yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Kathy started very young being trouble, so
And then she'd go
We
out.
thought the
she'd
dog
go
would
out
help.
in the yard and pretend she was talking to a horse.
Kathy or
Yes.
Fluffy? Okay.
Yes. She wanted an animal.
Yeah, I
No,
don't.
no, the
I
horse
do know
was
my
too
mom's
big.
obsession with.
The horse is too big, but the dog was little. And my Aunt Babe found in her neighborhood this woman who, their dog just had babies. And so we got it when it was little. It was real cute.
Oh.
Until a German Shepherd ripped it up in the backyard. Came in our backyard and actually threw the dog up in the air and ripped its insides. You know, so I had to take it to the vet. And then it ended up, Fluffy was kind of hairless.
Wait, it survived?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But you know, Uncle Luke, the dog went after Uncle Luke, and Uncle Luke he was so smart. He laid down and pretended he was dead, and the dog went away.
Wait,
God.
this hairless mangled dog went after Uncle Luke. The German Shepherd
German
went after.
Shepherd.
Oh, okay.
German Shepherd
Went
did
after
this.
I thought you were talking about
Fluffy.
half dead dog.
He-
We didn't even know the dog lived in back of
He
us.
threw up.
We never saw him before.
He threw Fluffy up and down, kind of chewed on
It
him.
was terrible.
And then, I don't know, Uncle Luke was walking by or something, I don't know, and he saw what was happening, and I don't know if he tried to help Fluffy,
Oh, yeah.
but
That
at
was
his
at
age,
2 different times.
yeah, then I guess there's another time, Uncle Luke played dead
Oh, wow.
when the dog was there hunting, I guess, and the dog left him alone.
Wow.
Yeah, we were lucky.
Luke.
Yeah,
Uncle Larry,
He was
super smart.
He was
Uncle Larry.
4 years old.
Wow. So he
Yeah.
was Uncle Larry at that
Yeah.
time because he had
Yeah.
not declared he wants to be a Luke.
Yeah.
Well then. So you said when you started your business was after Japan, and you did that because clearly Grandma was going to divorce you if you left ever again.
yeah, and actually it would have cost me too much money. So.
Yeah.
We didn't have any money, but
Well, at that
Super
time,
broke, paying
come
for
on.
child support and alimony.
he never had any money because I handled the checkbook.
So with you and your 5 kids, what was your favorite family vacation?
Oh my God.
Well, what's, oh my
Do
God.
favorite first, and then we'll do least favorite later.
Let's say, coming up here to Michigan Lake is our favorite thing.
Well, Aunt Fran. at a cottage in Beverly Shores,
Yep.
which is down the road a piece. And she would allow us to come out for a week at a time with the family. And I think those, when they were growing up, I think those were probably the best we enjoyed at that age. But I think the best that we enjoy now is this family vacation. It was just us, the 7 of us. We had 2 vacations or 3? 2. One was
the 2 Tetons.
the 2 Tetons. Oh yeah, I got to tell you about that one. They were all small. We go to the Tetons, the mountains and all that silly stuff, and we're ready to go. And the first day we come out, we had a cabin, and I said, "Come on, kids, let's climb the mountains." And of course, they didn't pay any attention. And there was a little lake here close to where we were staying. It was called Glacier Lake, and it was colder than hell, and that's where they spent the whole time.
There was still snow on the mountain.
No walking in the mountain, the wonderful all that crap. Then the other thing was Rhinelander, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We went to Rhinelander, and
that's when Elvis Presley died.
yes, we were on vacation. And what was his name? The waiter?
The waiter? I don't know.
Gary the gay waiter. Anyhow, it was a place where Grandma didn't have to cook. They provided food and stuff, and they had a lot of activities, and we would get fed the 5 days, and we had Gary the gay waiter, the poor guy. Anyhow, but I think everybody enjoyed themselves. They had a good time.
Grandpa wanted to have a sailboat, always. And they had a pontoon boat there you could rent.
No,
What
was a sailboat, but there was no wind, huh?
Yeah, well, he went across the lake, whatever it was, and they had to go get him because he didn't know how to get back.
No, that was the Caymans.
No, you did it in both places.
No.
I thought he was going to, down in the Caymans, there's a reef or something, you go by that, and you don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
And he said, "You want to go?" And I said, "No." I kept on watching, and he kept on going further. I said, "Oh!" And finally, the guy was worried about his boat and went out and got him.
That wasn't with the family, Ma. That was just you and I.
Yeah, I know.
Still, though,
that's part of our marriage.
Yeah, okay.
I thought he was going to be gone.
Grandma, this question is strictly for you.
Oh.
Would you have any tips for being a mother?
Would I be what?
Would you have any tips for being a mother?
Tips? No, I just played it as it was. I don't know.
I hear you.
Well, now
No,
just a minute. She gave a lot of tips to your mother, who generally forgot about them or ignored them. So I think she has a lot of tips, but nobody paid any attention, particularly your mother.
That was after my experience.
Yeah, well.
But she got her own experience.
Every experience is different.
Yeah, she had.
So now we're going to get on to the grandkids. You guys becoming grandparents. So what is your favorite part about being a grandparent?
Oh, we were so excited when we got one, when you came, and we had a grandchild. And now it's like when we have our great-grandchildren, too, we were so excited. We never expected to have so many grandchildren, but it's wonderful. It's wonderful. When I tell my friends how many I got, and they're all around me, except for you now.
Rhode
They're so jealous because most of them, their kids are far away. They don't get to see them but once a year, And we got to see you guys all the time.
Yeah.
And we like that.
We like it too.
Okay. That was what we liked a lot.
Okay, now then, are we about done?
No, Grandpa! God! Favorite part about being a grandparent? Obviously not questions.
Grandpa started it because of what's going up to Aunt Fran's place, I think.
Yeah,
But then when he came to, I don't know, those other two disasters, after that I never wanted to go another vacation.
I grew up on Lake Michigan with my Aunt Frances. And she, as our family grew, Aunt Frances would invite us and Grandma for a week at a time or something, and I might be working, but she would invite us. And Grandma got to like Michigan too.
And that's where she'd teach me how to make the
So
Italian
I think we came to a conclusion at some point in time that said, well, gee whiz, maybe we could get a cottage and go to Lake Michigan with the whole family for a week or something. And I think when we started out, we got a cottage at Grand Beach for 2 weeks, but it couldn't accommodate everybody, so we had to take 2 shifts. And then after that, we said, well, we got to try and find a bigger place so that we could all be there, and that's what we did, and that's what we found.
You move through the room like breathing was easy. If someone believed me, they would be as in love with you as I am. They would be as in love with you as I am. They would be as in love with you as I am. They would be in love, love, love. And every day I'm learning about you, the things that no one else sees. And the end comes too soon, like dreaming of angels. And leaving without them. And leaving without them. Being as in love with you as I am. Being as in love with you as I am. Being as in love with you as I am. Being as in love, 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 love. And with words unspoken, a silent devotion, I know you know what I mean. And the end is unknown, but I think I'm ready as long as you're with me. Being as in love with you as I am. Being as in love with you as I am. Being as in love with you as I am. Being as in love.